next question, actually, provided by Jennifer. So she has asked, how much sleep is recommended?
So I can take this one. That's a really, really good question. And it's one that, we often see and sort of ties in with Joe's question about worrying if they're getting enough sleep. And it's different for babies as it is with teenagers. So when we look at Lynn Quine, I'm just going to share my screen if I may. This is obviously for younger children from a newborn all the way up to 3 years. They're sleeping in the day and they're also sleeping in the night as well. So we look at sleep over a 24-hour period. For older children, there we go. So from 4 up to about 16, and we work with children or young people who are up to 18. They're not napping at this time, so their sleep is going to take place in one block, and that's ideally at nighttime. So this would be Lynn Quine. And the recommendations here, they are quite specific. And generally what we see is we can see sleep, the requirement falling about an hour on either side of this, of what's put here. And it's really important to bear in mind that every child is unique and their sleep requirements will also be unique to them. So there's no, so if you're a child, if it's, we have a 12-year-old who's sleeping for 8.5 hours, and it says here for 9 hours and 15 minutes. Again, we're going to look at their energy, how they wake up, if they wake up not naturally, to know that they're getting enough sleep. For Sleep Scotland, which is this slide here, this one again, so you can see that in the middle, it's the average age, the average amount of sleep. But, there is a little bit of flexibility on either side as well of that. So waking naturally is really important. That's a really good indication that your child is getting the required amount of sleep. And when they wake up, they don't have that sleep inertia, they're not groggy and it doesn't take them a while to sort of come to, as it were. We also look at the sleep quality. So we want to have that single block of sleep. We know that waking is going to be part of it's natural part of our sleep architecture, but we want the child to be going back to sleep. And I think Joe's going to talk about that a little bit later. But we want to make sure that the quality of the sleep is good as well. So if a child is having healthy sleep as a young person, we would see they would have sufficient energy levels and they would be settling quickly, within that sort of 25 minutes or so, as Joe mentioned.
Oh, that's really helpful. And I think actually one of the questions we had from Sonia was, something you just touched on there, Kate, was how do you resettle a toddler who wakes frequently in the night so they stay asleep?
So that's probably like the $1 million question. We know that you can't stop a child from waking. Waking is, as I've said, is a normal part of our sleep architecture. And everybody who, we all wake up in the night. You wake up, I wake up, but because we can get ourselves back to sleep, we often don't remember. But if you've got a fitness tracker or something like that, you can actually see, I was awake for 2 minutes or something. That's ideal. So waking up is natural and falling to sleep quickly would be the optimum. If we don't know how to fall to sleep on our own, or if a child doesn't know how to fall to sleep, they're going to need help getting back to sleep. So settling them, the question of how do you resettle a toddler, really, it kind of ties back into the first part of the night, so that the child is able to fall to sleep on their own independently, or with parental support. There are different ways that we can do that, but that we won't get into here. But if a child can get themselves to sleep at the first part of the night, then every time they wake up in the night, which we know that they will, it's a transferable skill, and they'll be able to do that with each waking. So really, it's how does the child fall to sleep? That's something that I would be looking at if a child is waking frequently, to look at the first part of the night, how they're falling to sleep. If they're needing support, then we would look at that and put strategies in place, supportive strategies in place to help them, sort of overcome that and work through that.
Yeah.